And when I was about 14, I genuinely looked at the female body kind of the way I would look at an exotic holiday destination, you know? I'd seen pictures in magazines, but I had no idea how to get there. And, you know, inevitably you have a friend who's a few years older who's like, oh man, it's amazing, you would love it. The views are incredible, and there's this place sort of in the south, kind of hidden away, but it's really, you really want to check that out. And you're like, how do you get there? Oh, okay, so basically, when you arrive, essentially just start heading south slowly, and then at some point stop and ask for directions. And, you know, I mean, 14-year-old boy, I'm like, but how do you get an entry visa? And let me tell you, it is a very long and bureaucratic process. There are so many questions to answer, wow. And if you get just one of them wrong, you have to start the whole process all over again with a different representative. Took me years to fill those forms out. And then finally, after years of trying, you get the right combination of questions and answers. Oh, brilliant, I've got there, I'm done, hooray. And then it's nothing like it was in the magazines. It's far less stable, and you know, once a month there's a bit of a bloodbath. Is that too far? Too much? The line? Interesting line. So we're all sexually racist, kind of okay. You know, women have periods. Ugh, gross. Ugh, you bleed from your vaginas. Icky. Okay. Fair enough. But equally, I think we have a very messed up view of sex from religion, which basically, at least in Ireland, was, you know, sex is sinful and bad and wrong and evil, unless you're a happily married heterosexual couple engaging in it for the purpose of procreation to create a child who will then brainwash into our religion. And then it's fine. And, you know, it's a very strange, I mean, they have a very strange take on sex generally. I mean, I personally have a bit of an issue of being lectured about sex by a group of people who, by definition, are either hypocrites or virgins. Sex is sinful and wrong, and God doesn't approve of sex. Now, hang on a second. These are the same people who tell you that God created everything, and God sees everything. Which means God has witnessed every sexual act that has ever taken place in the history of the world. He's seen every piece of pornography ever made. Not just when it was made, but on every subsequent reviewing of that same piece of pornography. So either the creator of the universe, by, you know, the logic of the Catholic Church, either he is guilty of incredibly poor forward planning, or he's a bit of a perv. Which would explain his obsession with young boys' foreskin. What's that about? Seriously, why does God so... I must collect more foreskins. I mean, what is that? It's a really weird obsession. With anyone else, you'd be like, that's just a little bit creepy. But no, with God, it's fine. It's totally normal. He's been doing it for years. Leave him alone, he's grand. And the thing that gets me about the religions is so many religions, at least in their conservative form, are deeply homophobic, right? Deeply ingrained in homosexuality is somehow sinful or bad or wrong. And I find this weird, right? Because if you actually read the original texts, Jesus says clearly, love thy neighbor. The Quran says explicitly, God makes glorious all that he creates. And every major religion is founded on the core idea that you should do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Now, for my money, homosexuality is the embodiment of doing unto others precisely as you would have them do unto you. It's a dictionary definition of that process. But because we live in this strangely weird, you know, religiously influenced culture, I think we end up having the wrong debate. We debate, is homosexual marriage okay? Should we allow homosexuals to marry? Of course. If people want to marry, they love each other, of course they should be allowed to get married. There's nothing wrong with that. The debate we should be having is, should we allow homophobic people to get married, right? Because, to be honest, they're the ones doing something disgusting and unnatural and kind of repulsive. But, you know, having said that, I'm a bit of a liberal, so I guess I feel that if two homophobic people really love each other and, you know, they want to meet together in private as consenting adults, as long as it's behind closed doors, it's really none of my business, you know. 2 or 3 or many of them together. They can do what they like. It's not up to me to decide. I think we should probably draw the line at letting them adopt children. I wouldn't let that. I just think it's too far. I think the kids might get really weird ideas about what's normal, growing up in that kind of disgusting, warped environment. I mean, would the kids grow up homophobic? I don't know, you know. And this, I suppose, ties into a larger debate we have to ask is, you know, are homophobes, I mean, is it a lifestyle choice? Or are they just born that way? I couldn't tell you. But, no, to be fair, I will make one concession. I would definitely let them serve in the army. Probably somewhere toward the front.